In today's video I have some bargain buys and some 2020 releases. And I'm gonna start with the bargains. I bought these two a couple of weeks ago for a total amount of maybe $4. And Pantera has always been a hit or miss band for me. Some tracks are excellent, but most of the tracks are pretty mediocre and not for me. And if we start with Cowboys from Hell, it was released back in 1990 through Atco Records, and it contains 12 tracks. And the title track is probably my favorite of the band, and it's awesome. But then you have Primal Concrete Sledge and Psycho Holiday, two tracks that are kind of bland. Sure, there are some fractions that's cool, but as a whole, it's not my cup of tea. Heresy, on the other hand, it's pretty good. Cemetery Gates also. Domination is not that good up until the breakdown, where it's awesome. Shattered is good, but then there are 4 tracks I can live without, and the last track, The Art of Shredding, is pretty decent. So all in all, it's a couple of excellent tracks, and the rest is fillers. And next, Vulgar Display of Power, released in '92, also through Atco. Contains 11 tracks, and once again you have some tracks that's not that good as a whole, but has parts that's awesome, like Mouth for War and By the Demons Driven. Then you have Fucking Hostile and Rise, which are really good. Then there are some decent tracks like Walk, This Love and Hollow, but also some pretty bland stuff like A New Level, No Good, Live in a Hole, etc. And the disc continues on throughout their entire discography, in my opinion. But you could probably make one very good record if you take all their releases post power metal. Yes, moving on, we have some 2020 releases, and this is Sepulchral Demons by Toxic Death. Toxic Death. It was released in August through High Roller Records. And Toxic Death was formed as early as 2003, but Sepulchral Demons is their sophomore release. And the band is from Sandnes in Norway. And Sepulchral Demons contains 7 tracks and has a running time of around 33 minutes, which is very, very good length. And the music could be described as early creative with a pinch of Slayer thrown in. And the vocals are more like a very angry punk or hardcore vocalist. And they fits the music very well, and it's mostly fast-paced, and there are even some blast beats on the track Malicious Assassin. And the riffs are very good, and the production is very raw, but you can still hear everything perfectly fine. And this is one of the best thrash releases in 2020, in my opinion. Very good stuff. You get a lyrics insert. The record is on blood red vinyl. So check out Toxic Death if you like early German thrash metal. Next up we have the debut full-length by the band Livsleda called Det besegrade livet. It was released on 9/11 this year through Shadow Records. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think that it's a solo project from one of the dudes from Sorin. And the project was formed in 2019. And Det besegrade livet consists of 9 tracks of pretty lo-fi black metal and has a running time of around 40 minutes. And one thing that sticks out is that the record is very diverse. There are some slow, almost doomy parts. And even though it's mostly fast-paced and has a very melancholic feel to it. And livsleda is an old Swedish word that means that you're tired of living. And the besegrade livet translates to the defeated life. And it's a gatefold. You get a lyric insert, and you get a poster, The record was available in black and on white, and I opted for the white one since it fits the cover very well. So check out Livsleda, det besegrade livet if you like avsky. And finally, we have the most anticipated record for me this year. This is Gin by Ueda. It was released on the 25th of September through Eisenwald. And Ueda, which I'm not sure how you pronounce, is from Portland, Oregon, and was formed in 2014. And I have been a fan of the band since their debut, Devoid of Light, but when they released the first preview of the follow-up, Cult of a Dying Sun, it was pretty disappointing. But it turned out that they picked the weakest track, and I ended up liking Cult of a Dying Sun a lot. Especially the 4 tracks are excellent. And when they released the first preview for Gene, I was once again pretty disappointed. In the beginning of the track, it's the title track that they released first. It almost sounds like something Green Day could have written. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not what I want on a melodic black metal record. And when I first listened to the record, when I got it last Friday, Gene was the first record. It was the opening track, and then you have The Great Mirage, and it's pretty good, but nothing exceptional. But when I got to the third track, No Place Here, I was pleasantly surprised because it's awesome. But when the track is supposed to be over, it just keeps dragging on, and the record's momentum is stopped. And the rest of the record was pretty good, picked up the pace a little bit. But all in all, I was pretty disappointed. It was good, but not as good as I hoped. But I spun it again and again and again, and the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. And while it might not reach the peaks of Cult of a Dying Sun as a whole, I think it's better than Cult of a Dying Sun, but not as good as Devoid of Light. And I think my favorite is the track No Place Here, except for the dragged out part, the last 3 minutes, which is the worst on the entire record. And it's almost 1 hour long, and they could have trimmed down No Place Here and some other parts, and it would have been even better. And the production is not as overly polished as on Cult of a Dying Sun, which is a good thing. And as you can see, it's a die cut. I got a limited first edition. It's still available, I think. So if you want it, grab it now, because the price will go up very much. But it is a gatefold, and you have the lyrics. And it's a 2 LP set, and I got the silver one. So if you like melodic black metal and have not heard Ueda, check out Gin, or even better, start with their first Devoid of Light, and then Cult of Dying Sun, and then Gin, because all 3 are very good, but Devoid of Light is excellent. And that was it for me, so thank you. By the way, Kvan, Revenge by Fire.